into this panel except for these two, because I know these two.
Wow.
Ooh,
Fresh meat.
Fucking fresh fucking meat.
Not for long.
No, not really. So welcome to Gunpla Building for adults. Because we're all adults here. You guys all have wristbands. Anyone sneaking in little children? Midgets maybe? I saw. Where are you hiding?
This is not gonna be. It's not correct though.
I saw a midget earlier. I got excited. No, fuck it. I like midgets. Okay, that's only because we're you're Asian.
I see midgets everywhere. It's animated.
Next slide. So, shameless plug. We have a show in November, biggest Gunpla competition in all the United States, right? No. And I'm going to continue plugging the shit out of this. Oh, shit. You know what? We actually have a video for a commercial that I didn't load from Freddie. Did you have the commercial? Huh? We'll do this one? Alright. So how many of you guys remember this commercial back in, you guys have been building Gunpla for a while, right? You guys remember those commercials from like 2000?
Gundam days.
Trying to like, what level are you? Bullshit. Yeah. So we did our own like version of that.
Professional people.
Oh, we're gonna do the other one. No, let's not do the previous one. Skip the previous one. Do the other one. Do the commercial. No, it's always not. No.
Yes.
We are a well-oiled machine.
Well, obviously.
Very likely.
People are like, what the fuck? How many of you guys went to the Gunpla panel by Kawaguchi, right? So aren't you happy this is in English? He's our translator. To Spanish.
Which one video up?
No, video's not up. There we go. So, this is our commercial.
Previously.
No, this one. This is the correct one. God damn it. No, don't
Listen to Clem.
do the commercial.
All right. You asked for
So if you guys came here last year, you kind of, okay. Wow.
Anything that doesn't look like shit. Don't want to hang up with a bunch of nerds to learn more skills? Put down that screw and pay some fucking attention.
There has to be an easier way to get parts off these runners.
Shut up, Timmy. Time to level up your skills with Klempla, the Clem way. Learn all the techniques.
That's fucked up. I've not seen this yet. This is not funny.
Clem sanding, Clem gluing, Clem striping, Clem stripping. Clem masking, Clem scribing, Clem chopping. Get to the chopper! Clem resin casting and many more.
His name's Clem.
You're my only hope. Those meet Chewie. Hey, so check it out. I made a book for you. Show you how to make those chinito robots. Look at this coin. Put it in your culo.
Oh my god.
No more shitty Gunpla, period.
Oh my god.
Oh, Mr. Clem, I have to go to the bathroom. There is no bathroom. Get all of this for 6 easy payments.
$100.
I'm ripping you the fuck off.
Those Gundam guys take no responsibility for injuries you may incur.
Clem told me I fucking suck. Maybe I should stop building Gundam. So I built these. Coin. You're $10,000 a month and working only 4 days a week. What? Oh, wrong one. And now, my models don't fucking suck ass. Thank you, Glenn. I don't know, Clem's book doesn't seem that great. I was wrong about I'm not being coerced into saying this. In fact, I bought 5 copies to give out to my friends. Clem, you're the best.
Gundam model competition. What's your level of commitment, you son of a bitch?
You know, there's a little bit of truth to that. I'm hurt that you guys took this look at something.
How many times have you seen that, Clem?
That's the first time I saw it. Really?
Nobody feels about you.
Huh?
We're trying to make it a surprise. I guess it was, actually.
Yeah. I know. I thank you. You guys rule. With friends like these, fucking kill yourself. So, what's this all about? A bunch of bags of dicks up here. Why is this for adults? I'm sure you probably figured that out by now. We're gonna go over some kick-ass techniques. We're gonna plug the fuck out of our show. We're gonna ask you to ask us questions. Anytime you guys have questions about shit, you know, anything I do personally in my life, yeah, raise your hand. No, I'm kidding. And let's do this. If you post something online, it's online forever. This,
What's more embarrassing?
yes. We're only 3 slides in. It's nothing but dick jokes from here on out.
It's okay, keep them coming.
Nice. Hello, Sean! Everyone say hi to Sean.
Hi, Sean.
Sean doesn't like being the center of attention. Let's say hi to Sean again.
My name is Sean.
Sean, you want to do this now, don't you?
Sean bought figures today.
Never mind, Sean.
Sean bought many things.
Yes. So, who are those Gundam guys? Dan right there. That's Angel. That's Mike Wine, and I'm Clem, apparently. Chicks dig Gundam guys, right? I see a lot of chicks in here. You guys dig this shit, right?
Yeah!
We are whores. Please buy shirts from us. From our women back there. I see this guy right there, right there, right there. That quiet guy over there. You have a stack like this, don't you? One guy nodded. He kind of looks like this guy too.
That guy brought his wife in.
Oh, please tell me he brought his wife. Right.
Who's his wife?
Okay.
The other guy.
Why? You know what was really creepy is one of my buddies like shook a head and went like, I was like, what the fuck? So, like, you don't have to go like second hand, you get straight from the spigot. Yes. Careful where you point at. That looks very wrong. There's something in the way. Are you being turned on, sir? We don't judge. We don't judge. No, you can be honest. Yeah, yes.
It's double barrel, because let's face it, 2 could probably fit there in this room.
The tables here are there for you to, slide your hands in there.
No, that's what the fridge is there for.
Look there. So this is Dan. This is some of the kits he's built. He's met Mr. Kawaguchi. How many of you guys met Mr. Kawaguchi? How many of you guys know who the fuck he is? No one gives a fuck. How many don't give a fuck who he is? That's right, he's from I love this crowd. See? No one cares. I had that picture 7 years ago. This is Angel. And this is Mike Wine.
You don't want to say anything about yourself.
I just want to look at my work and look at me.
Okay.
Just take it. This is all you're gonna get.
Wait, you did that?
Angel wants you to take it in.
I did that, yeah.
Wait, give me another second.
And I did that.
It doesn't take that long to take it all in.
No.
Wait, I think I've seen that one. What's that one?
Why is
Say
there
that stuff into the mic.
She was a virgin when you met her though, right?
We're gonna move on.
Okay.
I don't think anybody realizes what's on that.
No. We do care about you, Mike.
What's up with the asterisk?
Yeah, well,
Oh.
Any kind of alcohol.
thanks for asking, asshole.
So the asterisk is, how many of you guys have heard of GBWC? Like Diplo World, you did that, right? So we compete in the US and the winner at US gets to go to a foreign country and get the shit beat out of us by Asian people.
That's like soccer.
Fucking true, yeah, it's fucking true. So I've been, Dan's been, Angel's been.
Like I said, thanks for asking.
How does it feel like being the white guy?
You see, I'm smart enough though that I don't actually get there to get my ass kicked. Okay, that's the whole point. I get just close enough.
He stays home to get his ass kicked.
Touche.
Alright, and this is my shit. So on here is actually a kit I built and displayed on here for, I've been doing this panel for like 10 years now. Why? I don't fucking know. And some of you guys, this is the first time you've actually been to this panel, and I've been doing this for fucking 10 years. Why haven't I seen you before? Didn't yes, understandable.
We didn't recognize you
Oh, ex-military. Air Force.
Oh, you.
Right, Intel. I sat nice and comfy, I had a nice cafeteria. Yeah.
Excellent.
No, I came here to learn, obviously.
All right.
You still have all your digits? Good, you're good, you're good to go. Eventually we'll get to the learning part. I mean, and then you'll just all fall asleep. It's fucking boring. So we're gonna go over some of the basic techniques, basic layers, basics. Wow, there's a lot of people coming. Did you guys get lost? You guys didn't have
No more people coming in.
you guys were in line and then didn't have wristbands.
He wore his magic helmet.
Did you get laid wearing that?
Oh, hell yeah.
None of them knows who I'm talking. They're just pretending I'm not talking.
You're gonna go buy one.
Where's the hatch? Never mind. We're going to go over some simple display stands, new technologies in Gunpla building, or just new technologies in building anything you want to do. Scratch building, small details, and just fucking it all up. Because that's what it's about. It's fucking it all up. Just a little hardcore stuff. See, that's still relevant. I'm going to pass this on to Dan to discuss a few things about the wireless mic.
Scale.
We have a wireless mic?
We got sidetracked.
Oh, here we
Imagine
go.
us getting sidetracked.
See, it's already turned into. Yeah, nobody's wet themselves.
Check. All's good? Thank you. Alrighty then. So, Gundam models come in several different grades and scales. Most common scales are 1/144th HGUC, 1/100th master grade, 1/60th perfect grade, and the 1/48th mega size. I thought the mega size lineup was dead, but they just brought out the unicorn. So let's see what's next. Okay.
I have that.
On the simpler end, you've got like high grade, the 1/100th no grades, the reborn line, etc. It's a little simpler kits. No giant mechanical frame, not like 350 parts. They're a good kind of place to start with. I prefer like the reborn kits. They're kind of good middle ground. The HGUC kits kind of small, so these ones are a nice place to start if you're looking to build and paint.
Sorry, I didn't interrupt you. Did you just somebody say camphor?
What?
Oh, okay.
The effort.
Sorry, I'm getting old and dying and that's.
She was talking about your shirt.
No,
Camper!
Sorry, that was completely useless. Keep going. Sorry, Dan.
That's great. He built the first one.
That's not very nice.
Is that P-Bandai?
How many of you guys got the P Bandai joke? Like 2, 3 people. Yeah, P
Sitting
Bandai.
on the toilet somewhere.
I stand up to you. I don't know about you.
Some of us are old.
Some of us have pussies.
You would know.
Yes, I would know. Don't talk about my wife that way. All right, we're gonna go over build layers, clipping parts, sanding, seam lines, and basic build approach. So this is basic build approach. Your bottom layer is your plastic. We go up to primer if you want. Other than bare plastic, all these are fucking optional to you. And it depends on how you want to build. You want to build better. The guys from Sunrise or Kawaguchi Bandai, they came up here and said, you know, it's designed so that you don't need to paint the shit, you don't need to glue the shit because it snaps together. I mean, you shake the fucking box and it comes out, poof, done, right? But we're better than that, right? We want to, I mean, any fucking monkey can knock this stuff out and snap it together, right? I mean, this guy looks like he builds. Right? Yeah, that's right. But you want to be able to paint, you want to be able to glue this shit together, you want to be able to fuck it up while you're doing this and scream bloody fucking murder as you're building this and cutting off fingers. Because shit happens, but it's all part of the fun. Maybe you have some friends that build too, and they build slightly better than you, and you say, huh, fuck you, I'm better than you. Right? That's why we have our competition, so we stick in our friend's face. Ha ha.
Okay, a new slide.
Clipping parts. Now, how many of you guys clip parts directly on, like, as close to the part as possible? That's a bad idea. So if you look at that as I sand, you see that white mark. How many of you guys see the white marks there? White's bad, as we're learning from society. Really? What?
Excuse me, that Chinese guy, the only white guy up here is me, and you're saying white.
Hey, and you're the only one who hasn't gone to
I'm half white.
Shut up, you.
How does it feel to finally not?
White privilege is working well for them. So what's happening is you're stressing the plastic and then making that part white. So what you need to do is, next slide, cut away from it and then sand it down, and you see that it's darker. We like darker, right? Yeah, we like color. So it's slightly darker, but it's not glaring white, which is bad, right? White devil, white devil. I mean,
Is that precious purple?
So seam lines. How many of you guys know what a seam line is? So there's 2 people that join.
Back to stocking.
So you buy a kit, you look at the box art. How many of you guys have a kit on them? So if you look at a kit, look at the box art. It has this wonderful displays of what the kid looks like on the side of the box, right? Everyone's looking. And when you go home and you put this thing together, there's all these lines down the middle of every middle piece, and you're like, you look back at the box, like, what the fuck? There's no lines on this thing. Because they use glue, which Bandai says you don't fucking need glue. Yeah, bullshit. Go ahead. So, we use a plastic cement, that's a styrene, and what it does is melts the plastic. It effectively welds the plastic together. So when you press the parts together with the glue, you see that plastic glue that comes down the middle. You see a bead of plastic, right? Now, once you have that glued, all you have to do is let it sit for a couple hours to overnight, and then sand it away, and look, no seam. It looks like it's from the box art. It's like, oh, those sons of bitches. You still don't need to paint, right? Because you just sanded this down, and it's nice and, white. Perfect. See how it turns?
Thanks.
I know.
I don't get this part.
You?
There you go, the white man trying to send me.
That's right, that's right. Get back over to your wall.
You haven't built it.
I know. There's a joke about it later.
So immigration's waiting out there, right? No.
So, Dan, you want to talk about the lacquers?
Sure. Okay, so a lot of Gundam model builders love lacquer paints. Reason being that we tend to move our models around. Like you build an airplane, it sits there. You build a tank model, it sits there. Our Gundam models like, right? So we repose them. I have an 11-year-old though. My life has been gabbing for the last 9 months. All right. We like lacquer paints because they're extremely tough. They chemically bond to the plastic underneath them. They're very hard to scratch off. I used to use Tamiya acrylics. They kind of sit on the surface more so. So as you're putting your model back together after painting it, or if you're reposing, you tend to scrape paint off, scratch paint off. So a lot of Gundam model builders like lacquer paints for that reason, is that they chemically bond to the plastic, are very tough and hard to scratch off.
So how many of you guys airbrush? Right here. Ooh, how many of you guys airbrush with acrylics? There's one kind. So does your paint scratch just by looking at it? Yeah. Let it sit for like 7 days, goddammit. That's cure time. Now with lacquers, it cures very, very fucking fast. So almost as soon as it's dry, it's pretty much cured. You might want to let it sit for at least 2-3 hours overnight.
15 minutes.
Or if you want to build really fucking fast.
Hey, I've got kids, I'm on a schedule, I only got like 45 minutes to build them tonight. I can't be waiting for them to dry.
Oh, this will
That's a
kill you.
little toxic.
Yeah, this stuff is,
Prop 65.
yeah, it's
And you want to wear a respirator when you're like cleaning your stuff out with the dinner lock. You may want to wear some gloves. You want some ventilation. Yeah, because it's way more toxic than acrylics, but it's also a lot tougher.
So as you're painting and you breathe this stuff in, if it's getting you high, that's not a good thing.
What do you mean?
So here's a little quick tutorial on airbrushing. Hopefully the audio works for this. Oh, that's pretty much like it's like. Then you broke it. Scroll down to the bottom. Hit the arrow. Not that one. This worked yesterday.
You guys been doing it for 10 years?
I've been doing this for 10 years.
Dark blue. I'm gonna appreciate this. This is my first layer.
This guy sounds just like me.
So I'll have some in my airbrush. And I'm gonna get ready to spray. Get a quick test. Change my pressure a little bit. And my first spray, I'm gonna spray a distance. Notice the distance I spray at. To get a mist layer. Now once I'm done, you can see here that I have a very light mist. You see small little dots of paint on the surface. Once I do that, I can go on with a heavier layer. What the mist layer does is allow paints to stick to the surface. Otherwise, you're going to have a problem with the paint pulling. So I'm just spraying here just to color the entire part. Notice the distance my airbrush is at with the part. It was not as far away as when I was spraying the mist. And notice that it's nice and wet, it's glossy, so I'm done here. Now what I have here is a bottle of black I'm going to be using to spray the other part. So I want to make a comparison with pre-shading with a dark color versus a blue tone. So it's the same part, but I'm going to do the same thing as I did with the blue, is I'm going to spray at that distance to get a mist layer. You see this? A nice light misting layer, so there's just little dots on the surface to help the paint stick. Once I have the little dots on there, I can go in closer and spray heavier. Now the nice thing about this gloss is if you spray fairly heavy, with some practice you can get a nice wet coat and it's ultra glossy. Again, notice how close I am spraying to the part. These parts have dried for a little bit, and I'm going to spray the same color over both parts. You look at it's a light blue. I'm just going to do a quick test spray. and I'm gonna get ready to spray. So these are the two parts, the blue and then the black part. I'm gonna shade them the same way, and you'll see a difference between the two. So first, before I do anything, I'm gonna do a mist coat as well. So again, same thing with painting it earlier. You need a mist coat for the paint to stick. Otherwise, you have run into a problem with cooling. Now, for pre-shading, you get really close to the part. You see how close my airbrush is to the part. And with enough control, you're spraying the center areas, the center flat areas, and then you move on to the next area. So again, spray the center areas and keep the edges dark. Now, pre-shading is a matter of preference, how dark you want to shade it, how light you want to shade it. So again, I'm just going around to the part and shading bits and pieces here and there. Now, once I have this done, this is really darkly shaded. Now, what I want to do is I pull back from the part and I'm blending. This is basically the same technique as misting. With the misting, the lighter areas in the center are getting even lighter, and the edges are also getting lighter, so you get that light fade. See that there's slight shading, and again, this is a matter of preference. I prefer a lighter shade. I'm going to do the same thing with the black part. Again, spray from a distance to get a light mist. Once that's done, you see that I have a little light blue dots on it. Get in really close and spray in the center areas. Now you can also drop the air pressure down a little bit so you can get even closer. You're gonna have to play with your air pressure and distances to get this right. Again, notice how close the airbrush is to the part. And when I'm spraying on the black part, you see how the tones are showing up. You see the edges are really, really dark. Now, once I get this done, I'm gonna pull back and I'm gonna mist to blend everything together. And once I have this blended together, I'll have the part painted. So then so now I'll be able to compare this piece with the other piece.
Yes, that's right.
So now that I have this done, I can compare the two pieces. Notice that the part that was shaded light or dark blue, notice that the part that was shaded dark blue is lighter in tone. And you see the shading is starker. So again, this is a matter of preference on how you want to paint this. The darker base color will also change the final tone of your color. So notice on the dark piece, or on the black, notice on the black piece, the shading is a little bit more gray. So you're gonna see that the blue is a lot more blue. That's all there is to shading.
That was simple, right? You guys can all do that now, right?
No.
Just a little bit of practice, you guys can totally do this.
They both look white. Yeah. What kind of airbrush do you use?
It's an Iwata HPC is what I use. Coast Airbrush is local. In what order do you paint? I'm gonna let Dan take over for this.
There's nothing funny about a dickless microphone with a battery up its ass.
You guys are not old enough to know that one. I know. Boo!
Is that from the Fast and the Furious? All right. What order do you paint in? Okay. One of the things about Gundam models is they have a lot of layers. A lot of times they have an internal skeleton and then armor on the outside, plus they have moving parts. That makes things kind of complicated in terms of how do I go about painting this thing and putting it together? Because if you put it all together first, you can't paint the inside parts, right? So you have to think about how you're going to do it. So there's two main methods of doing this. Two main philosophies. One is the exploded diagram method. Okay, you ever see an exploded diagram of a bunch of parts? Okay, so the idea is you take all the parts apart of your model, put each one on a skewer that we like to use to paint them with, because if you hold it in your fingers, you get fingerprints all over your model. and you paint them all individually. The pros of that, everything gets painted inside and out. It's mindless. You don't have to do a lot of thinking or planning. You just stick every part on the skewer and paint it. All right? The downside, it's tedious. Master grade kits have 200, 300, 400, 500 parts. Psst, 1, psst, 2, psst, 3, psst, 4. It's like having sex with Clem.
No, it's not.
How do you know that? Wait, why do you even know?
Yes.
We're very close friends.
We're best
Why
friends.
tell you everything has some benefits?
All right, it also wastes paint because every time you, I don't know if you noticed that video, every time your airbrush sprays in a cone, only some of that cone actually gets apart. A bunch of it is called overspray. It goes off into the background and gets wasted. So the more parts you paint separately, the more it gets wasted. Also, you get tonal differences. If you paint this piece of the leg over here and this piece of the leg over there, maybe later you're a little lazy and you didn't put quite as much paint, right? And then they don't match each other. So one way to avoid that is to put a sub-assembly together. This is like 1 part, 2 part, 3 parts, 4 part. When they're all right next to each other, you can't help but paint them all the same color. Whereas if you paint them separately, you might put them together and go, oh, light blue, dark blue, not good. All right, the opposite method is the outside-in method. The idea is you take all your external armor parts and wrap them around the existing internal frame. Maybe you wrap the internal frame in some parafilm. You can find it on like Amazon.com. It's a science product, but it's like saran wrap and wax paper mixed together. You can wrap it around your internal parts to keep them from getting painted all up. You put the outside armor pieces and you paint them all together so that they get painted all at the same time. All right, the upside of that is camouflage and weathering techniques are evenly applied over many surfaces all at once. The downside is you have to put the model together and paint it, and then take it apart, and then paint the inside, and then after you paint the inside, put the outside back on. It's like assemble, disassemble, assemble, disassemble. So here's a walkthrough on kind of a worst case scenario. This is kind of a complicated kit where I did kind of both methods, but it's a real life example. This is called a Scope Dog. It's a Bandai kit. It's very similar to a Master Grade kit. It's just not a Gundam. One big difference is the Scope Dog is like a 20-foot tall robot instead of a 60-foot tall robot. So it's got a large pilot and a large cockpit in the middle of it.
That actually happened at one of our panels, and we like to take pictures of our audience. So you're fucked if you ever fall asleep in our show.
If you leave, we'll make fun of you as you leave. If you stay, we'll take a picture and make fun of you forever.
I'm waiting. She's asleep.
Fall asleep.
Her friend.
You're on next year's.
Well, my wife has been asleep since we got here.
All right, so I use both methods.